Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about promises in JavaScript. And promises in JavaScript work in the same way as the promise works in real life. We can commit to do something, we can promise to do something, and we can either succeed and we can either fail to do it. So I'm going to show you how to actually write a promise in JavaScript. So let's jump right in. So in order to write a promise, we can create a variable promise, and then we have to use new keyword and use the constructor promise, and then inside it takes two arguments, resolve and reject. So reject resolve we call when we are succeed to finish the promise, and reject we call when we fail to finish the promise. So in here we can perform a logic that we are expect to succeed in or fail in. So for example, just to keep it simple, we can do a plus operation. There's a variable a and I just want to do 2 plus 1. So let's consider we can either succeed or fail in getting a equal to 3. So for example, consider that if a is equal to 3, then we succeed, else we fail. So now in this block we succeed, so we have to call resolve. So we can call it with a message like success, and in else block I want to reject with a message error. Okay, so right now it's very simple logic, but here we can do some real database data fetching or API calls or something. Okay, now on this variable promise, we can call a then method. Then method we can get a result. Okay, so inside the then block, we whatever happens is after we actually succeed in completing the promise. So whatever when we call resolve method, that code is going to run inside then block. So here I just want to console log the result which we are getting, and here we have catch block, and this block of code goes when we reject the promise. So here also I just want to console log the error. Let me run it. You can see here success is printed, which means that the result is actually 3, and then we have resolved our promise and we reach inside the then block, and that's how this result is basically this message that we sent after resolving the promise, and that is what it's getting printed here. But what if this is not a 3? This turns out to be something else. For example, I change it with 2. Now I run it, and you will see error is getting printed here, which means that we are not able to fulfill this condition, and that's why the code is going inside to reject, and that's why here we ended up in catch block, and that's why this error is getting printed. Now let's say that we have more than one promise. For example, promise 1, new promise, resolve, and I just want to resolve it right away, saying that promise 1 resolved. Okay, now let me copy it few more times. Okay, so let's suppose we have 3 promise, and promise 2 is just going to resolve to promise 2 resolved, and promise 3 is just going to give a message promise 3 resolved. Okay, now we want to perform an operation after each and every promise have finished their jobs. So to do that, there is a way we can write promise and we can write all. Inside it, we have to pass an array of promises. So I can pass promise 1, promise 2, and promise 3. Here, then we also get a then block. Here we are going to get a result, obviously, and I just want to console log that result right now, and whatever happens inside catch, I do not worry about much right now. Okay, so let me run it, and you will see here that it will be an array of all the promises resolved. Promise 1 resolved, promise 2 resolved, and promise 3 resolved. So which means the then block is ran after every promise is finished. Okay, now imagine a scenario where we don't want to wait for each and every promise to finish. Even if there is one promise that is finished, we want to run our then block. The real case scenario would be, for example, we are trying to fetch a single thing from three different sources because we don't trust the one would work all the time. And as soon as we get result from any one of these these sources, we are just going to run our then block. Okay, so in that case, we don't want all of these promises to finish. We just, when the first promise, which gave us a positive result, we are just going to want to run our then block. In that case, we don't write promise dot all. In that case, we write promise dot raise. Okay, which means that all the list of promises that we are passing here, we just want any one of them to finish, and then we want to run our then block. So if I run it, it took few seconds and then it returned promise 1 resolved, which means that this first promise has finished the very first from all of these three. So that result we got the first, this result we got the first, and that we ran inside the then block, and that's how we get it here. So that's pretty much all about promises. Thank you so much for watching this video.